Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to examine my favorite album of the 2020s, Alone At Prom by Tory Lanez. In this video we're going to produce a beat in the style of Alone At Prom and go through the techniques used in that album's production to really capture that nostalgic feeling for the audience and bring them back to the 80s. To start off with, I added a simple 4 to the floor kick and snare to really establish that 80s groove heard throughout the album. More specifically, in Ballad of a Bad Man. At the start of Prom King and Lady of the Mech, you can hear the heavy presence of a vintage sounding E-piano playing some chords. These chords serve as the basis for the rest of the song. Taking these two songs as inspiration, I layered two vintage sounding E-pianos down in Xenology and laid down some chords. I also added a Juno chorus and heavy plate reverb to really emulate the 80s sound and give these pianos that really live, realistic sound. Bassline. This is probably the most important aspect to really set the tempo and the groove of these types of beats and songs. Poison Ivy is a song that really stands out for me, that uses a groovy bassline throughout the song, which in itself takes inspiration from a funk and disco background. So with this being said, I layered two different bass sounds and came up with a groovy bass line like this. With this groovy bass line doing a lot of the work, this gives us the ability to keep our simple 4 to the floor drum pattern as is. This is a trend throughout the album, where drums are very simplistic due to their busy bass lines. This is highlighted through tracks such as Last Kiss of Nebulon. Next, using the outline of the piano, I layered down some chords with a vintage sounding string pad and a sawtooth pad, and I drowned them in chorus and reverb to really widen both sounds. I also filtered the high end of both sounds with an EQ to really get that cheap vintage sound of the 80s. Sound selection is key here, as a lot of these beats made in the 80s use these synth strings and saw pads as the main chord sound. Sound selection is key here, as a lot of these beats made in the 80s use these synth strings and saw pads as the main chord sound. This can be highlighted through songs such as The Color Violet and Pink Dolphin Sunset, where it is just layered chords using both strings and saw pads. Look, we can stop here and have an amazing beat, but these instrumentals are known to have catchy ear candy throughout the track, which really keeps the listener enticed. A pluck melody can be heard in Ballad of a Bad Man, where it comes in and out of the track, creating a groovy rhythm that really takes the audience back to the 80s. Similarly, I added a pluck melody that comes in and out of the beat that complements all other elements we already have in our instrumental. I layered two sounds and came up with this melody. The key here to really get that 80s sound is an analog delay and chorus. I use Tone Flex as I feel like this plugin was perfect to replicate that vintage sound. With the added effects, it really changes the pluck melody and really makes it sound vintage through the analog effects, as you can hear. Finally, we cannot forget about the tom rolls and drum fills throughout the album, more specifically in songs like Hurt from Mercury and The Color Violet. So I got a vintage sounding tom and created a drum roll like this through the MIDI to be able to pitch it down as it plays. I use this roll as a drum break throughout the beat. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you guys prefer this type of content or more live cook-ups, and comment what sound you want me to explore next. Anyway, that's it from me. Here's the final beat.